We're looking at the handcuff running backs going into week 11 because if the running backs start going down with injuries, we are ready to rock and roll with the backups as we approach the fantasy playoffs. So we're looking at the guys who are going to get the work, who are going to have the upside, who could be league winners for our fantasy football teams. But one stash handcuff running back is very quiet right now, even though if injuries happen, we would see an immense uptick in production, and it's almost guaranteed. It's Tyler Allgeier of the Atlanta Falcons. If something happens to Bijan Robinson, Tyler Allgeier would be very safe in projecting good fantasy production. Maybe not elite, maybe not top tier, but good. We're going to deep dive those numbers for you today, just in case you want to make that decision or you want to stay away and look at a different stash option. But we're going to make a deep dive play with this, looking at the advanced analytics and the situation. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're doing deep dives all day long on as many players as possible because we need to right now so you can shuffle your team around and get ready for the playoffs. And on top of that, we're going deep on the waiver wire and helping you set your lineups tomorrow with the must-start video. So ask your questions in that comment section. Hit that subscribe button right now. Stop missing out. But Tyler Allgeier here. There are some games where we're seeing double-digit opportunities and double-digit carries. He's not a running back that's heavily used in the passing game, but he has been proven to be productive in fantasy football. He has upside to give you some production in fantasy when given the opportunity. And if the opportunity comes his way, that's something you want to look at. Obviously, when Bijan Robinson is healthy, Tyler Allgeier is not great for production. But if you have him stashed to where you don't have to fight for him off waivers, and if you have Bijan Robinson, you may want to have him on your roster due to the projected workload, because Bijan Robinson is a stud among studs. He's a generational talent at running back. Great in the passing game, good between the tackles. We saw this coming out of high school, and out of high school, we were just waiting for this. His time at Texas was just a pit stop. We were just waiting for this coming out of high school. Honestly, everybody was. We were watching him through college, just saying, just get to the NFL already, and he's a stud. And nothing to take away from him. He's a stud. He's getting a lot of work. However, if the bad happens, you got to be prepared. If you have this right now and you're enjoying this right now and this is what's carrying you over to the playoffs, you better have that insurance policy in check, because if your 19.1 points per game goes to a rando off the waiver wire and you just lost out to Tyler Allgeier, who's probably going to get you 10, 11, 12 per game, so just a little bit less, maybe more like what you're seeing in the start of the season for the back end of the season, but it's consistent, you're probably going to hit your head up against a concrete wall. That being said, that's something you may want to do if you got the space for it, because Bijan Robinson's getting a lot of touches, getting a lot of opportunities, he's been crammed. But we all know what happens to running backs, even though it's not happening yet this year. And running backs go down. You want the insurance policy. We have a lot of stash running backs sitting there healthy. But make sure you're good to go going into the playoffs. Tyler Allgeier was a 5th-round selection back in 2022. Very productive at BYU. Big, physical, powerful runner. He's actually paired well with Bijan Robinson. Like, the Falcons have a good 1-2 punch here. Is okay when it comes to athletic metrics. Nothing outstanding. But his size, power, vision, patience, good around the goal line is what this team likes, and can also give you some production in fantasy. Not heavily using the passing game, so you're not going to get that receiving floor like you would from a lot of the other running backs. But again, he can handle a lot of volume, and this team would be looking to give him a lot of volume if something would happen to Bijan Robinson. He has a history of that, and they still give him a lot of volume next to Bijan Robinson. That's a good indicator that he will get a lot of volume, and he has a 1,000-yard season under his belt. Not much in the passing game. 16 catches that year, 18 the next, 8 so far on the season. But he has 1,000 yards on his season as a rookie at 4.9 yards per carry. They brought in Bijan, they split up the workload, and they're still splitting up the workload. However, what you're seeing that year, and it was up and down production, nothing super elite, but steady, that's something you kind of want. This is a safe handcuff. a safe. You know that the Falcons ain't going to do anything tricky with you. You know the Falcons offense is going to move the ball. You know he's going to get work around the goal line. You know they're not going to fuck with Tyler Allgeier. The Dolphins might fuck with Jalen Wright. The Rams might fuck with Blake Corum. But the Falcons will not fuck with Tyler Allgeier if they need to use him as a handcuff. This is a lot safer. It may not be sexy, it may not be elite, but you know he's not going to get fucked with this team if the bad does happen. We're looking at the backfield here. Bijan Robinson is the man. Also, there's not much competition behind him. You can look at Chase McClellan from Alabama. You can look at the other guys, but it would be the Tyler Allgeier show if that happened. If that happened, you're looking at Tyler Allgeier getting a lot of touches, maybe a little extra work in the passing game. He's good in pass protection. He's good between the gut. He's a very safe, sound running back. Tyler Allgeier can be good in fantasy football. He has 1 RB1 week on the season and another 10-point game on the season. That is next to Bijan Robinson. This is okay. This is also an indicator that would severely ramp up if Bijan Robinson goes out, because that's a lot of workload that could go to him. On top of that, the opportunities. That's letting you know you got Bijan. You could ride him out. You could do what the Rams are doing with Kyron Williams. You could ride that guy out. But you don't have to, because you trust Tyler Allgeier. If they didn't have a Tyler Allgeier, Bijan Robinson would be getting ran into the ground right now because he's that good. But Tyler Allgeier is so good that you can use him as a good meat shield to keep Bijan Robinson afloat for a full season and not kill him off with workload. Tyler Allgeier, though, this is also an indicator that you can get double-digit opportunities. He can be a handcuff plus as a gamble. On top of that, this workload will ignite if something does happen to Bijan Robinson, because it's already simmering a little bit, and you're looking at the work in the passing game. Tyler Allgeier is not going to get a lot of work in the passing game. It will increase to more than 4.2 routes per game, probably pushing to like 10, 11, 12 or something like that. He'll be used more in pass protection probably because he's got value there, a lot of value, but also good work around the goal line, more opportunities in the run game. We're not expecting Bijan Robinson production, but we're expecting a huge increase and a lot of good value in fantasy football if that ever does happen. He's not your stash. You're looking at one of the other stashes. There are a lot of stash running backs right now, but I do say he's a safe stash. He's not going to get messed with if something happens to Bijan Robinson. They're not going to play around with other running backs. He will get his opportunity. He'll get goal line looks. He will get a lot of work. He will get featured. He will be a top running back when it comes to workload opportunities, touches out of the backfield. And that is something you can look at and feel good about, that if something does happen to Bijan Robinson, you have Bijan Robinson, that you don't have to feel like you got a FOMO over a Blake Corum, over Jalen Wright, or one of the other running backs. Those guys got upside in the event that if they do get the opportunity, they could go blast off. But they're also in situations, and you look at the coaching staff and what they've done, they kind of fuck with their players a little bit, and you don't want to mess around with that, and you don't want that. But you're looking at a safe handcuff right now that you know, and you're dead serious when you look at him, that if something happens to Bijan, he's going to get a lot of workload. He's going to be getting a lot of work rate. He's going to be getting a lot of opportunity. That is something to look at here. That's something to take in when you're looking at these stash running backs, when you're trying to get ready for the playoffs. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.